Gotta clean that thing. Hey, boys and girls. Ooh, get that out of there. Hey, boys and girls. I am 5 minutes late. I apologize. Today is the first iteration of the new setup. All right, we're not going to be playing guitar on live stream. We will be playing. Well, I keep saying that. We probably will, but not in one whole show of everything. This is supposed to be a completely different set of noodles, for instance. What is going on in the chat? Yeah, all right. So, not playing guitar on these, first of all, Sunday shows at church, right? We know this. If you spend more than 15 minutes with us, you're good for the week. So, you're good for the week. We are going to talk news and politics, generally from here on, and it's sort of my wheelhouse. I'm still going to try and it is nice out. I mean, it's rainy, but it's nice out. Right? What's the weather? What's the weather today?
It's currently cloudy and 70 degrees.
70 degrees, 0 chance of rain. I'm sorry, I gotta see this. It's gonna be nice until about 11. 10 before it gets hot. All right, that's fine. Let's put this here. Oh man. Oh boy. So yeah, it's Sunday. Want to look up the news, see what's going on in the world. Give us Chicago cop fatally shot in West Englewood, second seriously injured. There's a lot. Governor Cuomo could face possible misdemeanor, Albany County Sheriff. Rampant Taliban captured key Kunduz as Afghan cities fall in the wake of U.S. withdrawal. We were the only one keeping those people afloat, and they're already running through the place, cutting people's heads off. It is what it is, right? You can't bring democracy to people who don't want democracy, right? And just because 10 or 20% of them do, you still got 60% of them who don't, whether that's the 20% or maybe less than that, right? Who will fight it out with you. 5% will fight it out with you. And the 60 to 65% who don't care one fucking way or another. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The Taliban is emboldened, and I would still be dropping fucking bombs on them just because I'm that type of dude. Chicago cops. And here's the Chicago cop thing. I heard about this yesterday. 2 cops at a traffic stop shot and killed. Now, you want to nudge, nudge, wink, wink, crimes out of control, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Black Lives Matter, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, wink. But there's always been people who don't want to go back to prison or to the joint or did not mind killing a cop, right? There's always those people. My question now becomes, I haven't read the article yet. My question now becomes the tone of the article. Let's read the tone of the article. Chicago Tribune, right? Reputable. To Chicago. Do we want to make this bigger? Yeah, we do. All right. Ooh. All right. Let me get out of here for a second. Actually, why don't we do this? All right. That's where that is. Let's make it bigger. Chicago police worked the scene there where 2 officers were shot at West 63rd Street and South Bell Avenue in Chicago on August 7, 2021. That was yesterday night. 2 Chicago police officers were shot Saturday in in the West England neighborhood on the south side, according to Chicago police. In this West Englewood neighborhood, the south side of Chicago. One of the officers, a woman, has died. According to the Chicago Police Department, the other is fighting for his life. First Deputy Superintendent Eric Carter said at a conference early Sunday, "Our hearts ache." Of course, her hearts ache. More likes at the news. Yeah, she's the mayor. All right. All this dead poetry. Just tell. I mean, it's not the 70s anymore. Just tell people the story and tell us if you knew them personally. I get that. But all this, our heart aches, is just melodrama and bullshit. The officer was the first Chicago cop to be shot and killed in the line of duty since Lightfoot became mayor in 2019. That's good. 2-year run, right? I mean, because what's the average? I want to say on average, a cop dies every other day or every day in the country, whether that's by car accidents or criminal incursion, or whatever. On duty, one die a day. That's like 365 a year. But no, I think that's right. I'm going to say that we may have to look that up too, just to make sure I'm not wrong. How many cops die a year on patrol? Oh, I was way wrong. 17. So that's like 3 a day. Average 106. Wait, hold on. A total of 104 officers died in the line of duty during the past 10. I'll see. I asked a question, you give me bullshit. Past 10 years, 176, average 176 a year. That's one every 3 days. That's about what it is for black people getting killed by the cops, one every three days. Yeah, one every 3 days. I thought it was one a day, but man, see what happens when you're wrong. Y'all look that shit up. All right. Prior to Saturday night, though, the last line of duty death of Chicago cops who were killed while pursuing a suspect in December 2018, when Eduardo Marmolejo and Conrad Gary were fatally struck by a train. They looked for a suspect for illegally possessing a gun. The suspect, Edward Brown, was sentenced this past April, to a year in prison for a felony weapons violation in the case. Okay, if this was New York, they'd have charged him with both deaths of both of those cops, which is bullshit, by the way, and he'd be doing double life for like police murder. But this, first of all, how did they find him? Suspect with a gun. So I guess they knew who he was ahead of time. And then they found him long after he was away from the scene. Something tried to tell him they tried to charge him with murder because they were looking for you. And his lawyer was like, he's got absolute proof that he was absolutely someplace else. So that gun charge that, that may have been sitting there for a while you're looking for him had nothing to do with this. And I got to look this up. Hold on. Because I know sketchiness happened. The officer Chicago cop were killed in the line of duty. Every line considered by police to arm in the line of duty. Yeah, we want to know that story, but we don't want to know it just yet. The first Chicago cop to be shot and killed in the line of duty since Light became mayor last year. The death of 4 other Chicago cops who succumbed to COVID were also considered by the police department to be in the line of duty. How do you prove that? This is the thing. Once it's our club, we don't have to prove shit. We can just say what we want. For all you know, they got COVID at Disneyland and then came to work where they exposed other people to COVID. We can go through this, man. Just how like people's minds work when no one questions what they're doing. No guy who fell off a ladder. Well, I didn't know him. He fell off a ladder. He came in. His lieutenant let him get suit up, go to work. And then he said he fell in the projects. I don't know what happened to that. I don't know what happened to that. But they investigate these things heavily. So something tells me, like, there was a guy. This is what I'm talking about, like, not these guys, but there was another lieutenant who got into it with his neighbor and stole his neighbor's brand new trash cans, 70, and spray painted his address on them, outside. Dad, what you gonna do about it? He called the cops. Cops arrested the lieutenant for not grand theft, like petty theft. But there was a new law: anything stolen over like $200, and he had bought all these trash cans, like 4 of them, for recycling. And I think they were like $60 a piece or some shit. Like it was something stupid like that. And it was just over the minimum amount to be a felony, and he lost his gig. You know how much New York City police lieutenants make? They make like 90 grand a year, and he lost it. The only job you can get without a college education where you can make 90 grand a year. And then people just get up and get arrogant about it. And then bam, not only do you lose it, you go to jail. So now I think a lot of the brass is trying to keep their reputation and keep the bad people sort of silenced or in play. All the while doing the same thing they always do, is blame the people who go, you got the shit at your job. That had nothing to do with this, though. We're just going down the rabbit hole of policemen. So Brown, a year in prison for a felony weapons violation in the case. A year in prison. The shooting happened just not after 9 p.m. West 63rd and Southwest Avenue when the officer conducted a traffic stop. One of the most dangerous things cops can do are traffic stops. There were 3 people in the vehicle, 2 males and 1 female. Here's your problem. Unless everybody did the shooter has 2 witnesses. Not everybody, especially women. 5 years down the line, you'll want to be, not all women, but you might want kids, right? That's a biological imperative, even though there's a lid on that shit now. Somebody will tell. During the stop, someone opened fire on the officer, and the officer returned fire. Cars said 2 officers and 1 suspect were shot. The officer was taken to the University Medical Center. Police said, Tom Earhart wrote in a tweet, 2 males are in custody and 1 suspect, the female, is still at large. The male suspect who was shot and taken to Christ Hospital on handgun. The male suspect who was shot was taken to Christ Hospital. 1 handgun was recovered from the scene. Outrageous. For no reason. Right? I also think that you can radicalize shit just from watching shit on TV. All these police encounters that you've been watching for all the years, like, fuck these people. That plays on you. Don't act like, people aren't affected by it. The officer who died had worked for Chicago Police Department since 2018. He was fucking new. He like 5 years on. 3 years on, good Lord. And was a member of the community safety team, a citywide unit formed last summer under Police Superintendent David Brown to respond to crime hotspots. Sounds like the old street crime unit in New York. They just roll up on you. Yeah. They put them in hotspots. An overnight email from the top leadership of the Chicago Police Department urged the department to keep the families and friends of these officers in your prayers. Now we're talking prayers. Police continue to look out for each other on duty. Yeah, of course you should. It's a violent thing, but all of these things always become PR runs. What about the bad guy? I mean, numerous marked and unmarked police vehicle with their lights flashing block traffic. Yeah, it's fearful. I mean, we know this stuff. Cook County Sheriff Police also on the scene helping with traffic control. That whole paragraph is not needed. Outside the University of Chicago Police Medical Center ambulance on the Cottage Grove Avenue, dozens of Chicago police officers and Cook County Sheriff deputies stood outside. Dozens of cops stood outside. Get your fucking ass to work. I mean, this is the shit, right? If it's so bad, why are you out there? Why are you standing visual? He's not. This is why I didn't understand. I mean, it's to show support, but it also goes against a lot of the stuff that people say. I think all police departments need to be upgraded because they're also run off like these 70s, 80s bullshit protocols that people put in place are no longer there. Like this, everybody shows up. I get a funeral. I get him exiting the hospital to a greeting, right? I get that. But because I had to do it. They took me and I was like, why are we here? Right. And then the deputy inspector came through and told everybody to get back on patrol, which I thought made a lot of sense. And everybody was like, deputy inspector's an asshole. I think just miserableness is a thing in our society. The hospital, Cottage Grove and 57th Street were both lined with squad cars. Okay. Meanwhile, who's out patrolling? Officers exchange hugs with each other and people in plain clothes. Some women walked up to interest in tears as an officer escorted them, family members. A Jeep pulled up into exit and a passenger rolled down his window and yelled out to a woman on the sidewalk, "What happened over there?" 2 officers were shot, he replied. "Oh, wow," he said as he shook his head and rolled up his window. The Fraternal Order of Police, Chicago Lodge 7 tweeted, "Lord, please look up. Not everybody's super religious. Keep them at every officer." But oh God, Jesus Christmas. Yeah, this is not the story. Whatever this is not the story. Early morning, dozen of police officers stood alongside Harrison and Levitt County, outside the medical examiner's office, as the body was slowly escorted into a dimly lit parking lot by musical groups playing the bagpipes. They're not a musical group. They're a oh my God. Okay, well, musical group. All right, bagpipe. A tradition for Chicago cop who died in the line of duty. It's actually a tradition for every cop of the country who died in the line of duty. And it shouldn't be, because not everybody's fucking Irish and like the bagpipes. Scottish and like the bagpipes. I think it's a holdover of an all-white police department. And how it became Irish and Scottish and as evil as it fucking is. And it happened after the Civil War, if you care to fucking know your history. Remember, this is Sunday service, man. If you're here, you're good all day, all week. It's just for Chicago cops who died on the line of duty. All right. With the roaring of a parked fire truck in the background. Why is a parked fire truck roaring? Scores of officers saluted Chicago Fire Department Ambulance 36 as they moved slowly with his emergency lights on. Some firefighters and paramedics paid their respects to fire truck station, dozens of police vehicles. Blah, blah, blah. All right, this is bullshit. Jeremy Gorner, other than being a shitty writer, is a beat reporter for the Tribune Metro South. He wrote this high and at 1 a.m, covering the Chicago Police Department. He joined the Tribune in 2006, covering breaking news for his online news desk. Before joining the Tribune, Gorner covered crime at the now defunct New City News Service, formerly known as the City News Bureau of Chicago. Yeah, that is a shitty article. That is not a good article. Chicago Tribune, The Thin Blue Line. This is going to be Pluff. ABC 7, honest fallen officers, a body camera video recovered after 2 Chicago camera. I mean, how did they get run over by a train? Don't get me wrong. I never understood this. I never understood how you can be hit by a train in a wide open space. My whole position is this: on the tracks, off the tracks. And I know you just can't step off the tracks by a foot. You got to get further away because there's a rush of wind that will knock you clean off your feet. I know this, right? And I also know that sometimes people get trapped on train trestles, right? So I get that. But some of it is just, is that what it was? They were in a tunnel? It was a commuter train. So I think they were in a tunnel. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Chicago police officer Edward Lamar and Kerry was struck and killed by a southbound Shoreline commuter train on December 7 while pursuing a suspect across the track. Wait, they were pursuing him across the tracks? Yeah. Good Lord. Marmello had been on the 4th and 5th District for 2.5 years. He survived by his wife, Maria, and daughter, Rebecca, Madeline, and Sophia. Yeah, I don't. What? This doesn't make any sense. Beverly Review. Oh, this doesn't make any sense. The marathon for finding the gun alleged Chicago police Craig Grant and the person briefly struck by was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Edward 26 pleaded guilty to 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon April 7 in exchange for the sentencing. He had several counts of unlawful use of weapon and reckless discharge, but all but one of the counts were dropped as part of his plea agreement. According to media report, prosecutors said they could not reasonably charge Brown with officer's death. His one charge carried a possible sentence of 1 to 3 years. His one charge carried a possible sentence of 1 to 3 years. All right. Judge Diana Kenworthy noted that Brown had no criminal record, worked with the police in the investigation, and never violated the terms of his pretrial. That seems fair, right? You put these things on. He's trying to resolve this. He knows he's going to go to jail. Why would you hit him with the whole thing, right? The whole point of plea bargains is the bad guy gets, if you both get 10 years, the bad guy gets 10, you should get like 8. Like 8, 7.5, 8, like a year or two off. You shouldn't get half off. Let's not get crazy. And it shouldn't be for everything like arson, rape, murder, bank robbery, right? It should be like, oh yeah, I stole that car and what an asshole I am, and I'm sorry, Your Honor, and this is my first offense. Or, it's not my first offense, but I want to change my life, Your Honor. I'm really okay. You cop to all this. We don't have to do any investigation. The amount of charges you could get for the stolen car, and the speeding is 25 years. But since you cop to this, we're not going to give you 25 years. We're going to give you 20 to maybe 17 to fix your shit. You can be out in 15. Instead, well, you're a piece of shit, and I'm a up my ass judge, 30 years. Then why the fuck am I pleading with you people? Man, the American justice system is a fucking hard joke on a lot of people. It used to be just for black people. Now it's a hard joke on everybody. His one charge carried the possible sentence of 1 to 3 years. Judge Diana Kenworthy said he was a good boy, essentially. The incident occurred on December 17th. Prosecutors said Brown found the gun in a fanny pack that another person had mistakenly left behind in an alley. What? That doesn't make any sense. Brown walked to Metro where he fired the weapon 3 times. So he just walked into there, boom, 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 look at me, I'm special. And it caught the attention of the cops. This whole story doesn't make any sense. Detected, shot, and Gary Miller were among several officers to respond. They climbed up a gravel embankment where they saw Brown heading south and pursued him. They remained on the southbound tracks as they saw a northbound train coming in. Tragically, they were unaware another train was heading south as they were struck and killed. They remained on the southbound tracks as a northbound train was coming. Tragically, they were unaware that so they didn't look around. They heard train noises in a train yard and saw one train was like, yeah, we're good. Okay, I see what happened. All right. And they were hit from behind and they were struck and killed. Gary, 31, lived in Marmolejo, 36, lived in Beverly and had young children. The funeral, yeah, that's just fucked up, quite frankly. Yeah. It is what it is, isn't it? Floyd breaks COVID record. For GOP instructability is a chance to inch away from Trump. New York Times. Stop acting like Trump founded the party. That party was a shit show long before Trump showed up. But so was the Democratic Party. So what are we doing today? We may go to the beach. This show will be an hour. All the shows now, Sunday shows, are going to be an hour. I have a thing like, should I stream this on my other channels or is this a one and done? I have no idea how this new format is going to work. We'll give it a couple of weeks to test it out. North Korea, Kim Jong-un called for relief in flood-hit areas. Messy in tears, okay. Cuomo follows well-used playbook by scandal-plagued politicians. Fox News. You better watch it. Fox News have a lot of those sort of people. Didn't you have to fire 2 of your journalists for this kind of behavior? Cuomo fights to stay in office, runs into a wave of Democratic defections. How Cuomo took advantage of Me Too. Yeah. I mean, when Cuomo was on his Me Too shit a year ago, I was telling my friends he's got a fucking bullshit history with women. And he goes back 30 years. bullshit history, smug and arrogant about him, right? Openly insult him at a press conference. That's and now all of a sudden, here's the thing: all the women who came out for him before this little bit of information, why don't you go ask them questions about where their head was? Now all of a sudden they're little girls again. Oh, I was hoodwinked. No bullshit. You were trying to play fucking the political favorites, and it turned on you. So now someone should ask you questions about why you supported him, and how do you support him and me too at the same time. And if you're supposed to be an intelligent person, why should we trust you if this is your man? There's a lot of fucking coffee in this. Why do we trust you if this is your judgment? It's like Hillary Clinton. I'm sure Hillary Clinton is pro Me Too, unless it's her husband. Then everybody's a lying bitch. No, it's that. It's like, I support Me Too, except for these bitches who are lying about me touching their hoo-ha. And what camera, videos, I'm just Italian. Don't worry about it. Man, I wish I could get away with some shit like that. Walk into the place like, yo, what up, baby? Smack on the ass. Oh, no, I'm black. That's how we do. All right, no problem. Just keep it moving, sir. Thanks for showing up. Some of the stuff is just so goofy. No one's watching the Olympics? Aw. I look for news and I get this. Do we even want to look at this Sir Como's fight to stay in power? Bill, yeah. This is going to be snarky, and it's going to be snarky about Dems. Do we got any video? U.S. urges Americans in Afghanistan to leave. Yeah, why would you stay there? They're going to kill you. I mean, why would you stay there? Why'd you name that place Dixie? I gotta find out, because we looked this up yesterday and I couldn't find it. Dixie, California. Dixie, California. Let's go. Dixie. Where's the history? History of the Lord. My typing is horror. STORY. History of Dixie, California. Not Dixon. Good freaking gravy, i.e. Dixie, Dixie Fire, Dixie Fire, Dixie. I don't want the Dixie Fire. I just want the history of Dixie. Let's go down to 5 before we even get in here. Yep, let's go down to 10. What Dixie really means. The Dixie Chicks. Everybody's fucking around with these racist names, and all of a sudden, Dixie, California map, Dixie, California mayor. Let's look that up. Only thing you're getting is Dixie Fire. I would love to know the history of Dixie in California. But all right, that's that. Boston Mayor compares COVID vaccine passport. Okay. Hold on, wait a minute. Boston Mayor compares COVID vaccine passport ... to what? Everything's a clickbait story. World Health Organization surges motorcycle rally. We talked about this yesterday. That motorcycle rally, people are going to disperse from there and end up, in your Walmart or your Kroger's or your Food Lion or your Key Food or your Mets or your whatever. And with this new variant, you might just want to rethink your vac situation. But I don't know. An infrastructure bill. That's $3 trillion short. 2 6PD officers shot, 1 killed in Inglewood. Look at this. Like, look at this image. Good Lord. Yeah. We're about the news, people. Yeah. This is why I don't trust, like, if you're a news agency and you have a paywall, I don't fucking trust you. I really don't. I don't know what the new model should look like, but it's not making everybody give you a nickel for your newspaper and then having bullshit stories and squishy coverage for your friends and wild, ridiculous coverage for average citizens because it sells papers. Why is this? All right, let's turn this fan this way. So, Sunday service, guys. First episode, only going to be an hour. We're halfway through it. I will be playing guitar later today for an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes, we said, right? Then I'll likely be back 6 or 7 to kick off the new night segment, whatever that's going to be. The day and the night segments are going to be different because Monday through Fridays, there won't be any day segments anymore. And the morning segments will be every Sunday at 7, but likely Saturday, I'm thinking maybe around 10 or 11 for brunch. Hang out, talk shit around 10 or 11 to like 12 or whatever Saturday, just so you can get over your hangover, right? Yeah, that's where we're at. Do not be, there really is no news. I wonder what my local news is. Local business owner reacts after foreman injures and one critical. The local business owner reacts. Okay. Local veterans. See, it's all about veterans. Local chef Christy Brown and Fry team up for a Black art inspired meal. Black art inspired meal. This is not what the civil rights movement was supposed to be about. You're all a fucking embarrassment. Oh my God. Grapevine celebrates day dedicated to local space hero Wally Funk. Wait, we have a local space hero living somewhere in this vicinity? That's fucking news. DFW, what is that? Fort Worth? It's Texas. It's got a giant star on it. This is not local news. Saturday, Wally Funk at the CBS DFW.com. Group at the 80 Funk, blast off. No. Dallas Fort Worth. Yeah. DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. Okay. All right. Space heroes. They need to absolutely get all the love we can give them. Somehow we have just stopped doing shit. We still give money to these people, but we don't go to space in any real way anymore. We shoot shit up there for billionaires and their telemarketing companies. You got to make a local couple knows benefits of fostering children. Yeah. COVID-19 influence on school cafeteria, expect less fresh local foods for Kansas youth. Less fresh food for the youth because of COVID. You're blaming COVID on stale food. I mean, you didn't say canned food. You said less fresh. What does less fresh mean? What is less fresh? See, that's what I'm talking about. National. That's sad. Father John's after saving his kid. Marine on a mission to honor U.S. forces with National Desert Storm Shield War Memorial. Viral video on San Diego's deputy fentanyl exposure raises questions. Yeah, because you opened up the fucking thing expecting it was drugs, and then you had a fucking drug reaction. I was taught, like, you know what? One of the first things they told me was, don't do this when you think something is. What? That's something you do in the movies, like, and people do that shit. People are just, I mean, it's so in your head because you watch 1,000 bullshit cop shows. And people are ridiculous. Why COVID-19 vaccine should not be required for all Americans. That's one doctor's opinion. Other people say everybody should have it. I think that's Fauci's opinion. Kansas middle school students sing impromptu national anthem to vet. Why is that news? I mean, it's a cool thing to do, right? But why is that news? And what makes you think it was impromptu if there's a camera crew there? I think Americans are not as intelligent as they seem, because all these weird little things that happen to us, it's always sort of fucking foretold, right? And then the bar is moved and nothing gets done. 1 week ago, that Nina Turner thing is just outrageous. I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to starting my political pod again, because I've got questions. Who can I ask them to? I wonder if I talk loose. I don't think anybody want to show up here and talk loose with me who's a accredited, this, that, or the other thing. But yeah. How do you expect people to come and vote for you? So you want a Desert Storm, Desert Shield war memorial? No. Stop putting up memorials to wars. The place is going to fucking fill up with war memorials. We're not not supposed to be a warlike country, right? And yet we are. We're perpetually warring with somebody. Usually somebody weaker without an army, I want to remind you. And usually getting our ass kicked while we do it. Don't tell anybody, but the Vietnam sort of dusted us in that thing. We had to escape there. Remember the famous picture of helicopter lifting people off the roofs? Because was it Ho Chi Minh? Surprised us with that Tet offensive. Should have saw that coming, right? Should have saw us being bombed in the middle of the South Pacific by the Japanese, right? I think something tells me this could happen. People are like, that's ridiculous. Remember, that guy told that there was I want to say, was he the CIA or the NSA, who was there, who was saying, Saddam Hussein was going to bomb the place. And they were like, shut up, you're ridiculous, get out of here. Then they eventually fired him and he became he retired and he became the head of security at the World Trade Center, and he died there. Like something like 6 months after he left. Let's look up his name. Those are the people who should have statues in this country. And all those people who shot him out should actually be fucking brought out and talked to. Not by me. Who the fuck do I know? But someone in real power. And since everybody in real power is like the people I just described, you see why we get what we get. Bleeding money from the treasury and starting wars with people in sandals and then getting our ass kicked. I mean, Afghan is an embarrassment. Afghanistan is a fucking embarrassment. And you know what? They should have won that war because we should have been there in the first place. Iraq. Hold on, wait. I got it right. I got it wrong. We should have been there in the first place. But that whole Iraq situation, which just muddied this whole thing, I had to mix up, which just muddied this whole thing. Iraq is still on fire. You better be lucky there too. I mean, we make enemies like fucking bees make honey. It's fucking ridiculous. All right, what were we looking up? French's launches mustard hot dog buns. Why would I need that? Michigan Air National Guard lands jets, take off from U.S. highway in military test. So you're testing a military whether you can land your jet on a highway. I don't see why not. All you need is a flat surface, right? But they need a lot of space. So maybe the problem is the slow rise and falls of roads. And you know what I mean? Yeah, all kind of interesting stuff. America will shift under your feet, people. You better watch it. What were we looking up? I totally forgot what we were looking up. Viral video of San Diego deputy fentanyl exposure raises question. Do we even want to watch the viral video of his fentanyl exposure? Some of this stuff is super bad, people. News of the World, a novel. The national vaccine. This is Canada. Latest national news headlines. Live news stream. Buffalo stops traffic in Yellowstone Park. I get this. Look at this. Birds are out. The birds are birding. Them things are ginormous. I hope you're in your car. People are idiots. They're not cows. Yeah, they're in their car. Keep your windows up with some of these things. It's like that. Do you see the video that probably not? There was a video of people who were trying to take a picture of a tiger in a safari, and the tiger jumped in the back of the car. All sorts of mayhem. People jumped out. You're in a safari, idiot. You can't get out of the car, but why'd you let the devil in? You know what I'm saying? So crazy. Beautiful and majestic and almost all gone. So here, let me show you this. Here, if you're driving down the road and some Canadian geese come walking through with their slow asses, you have to stop. You can't just plow through them with your funky sports car. Obviously, you have to stop. But I mean, they're more important than school buses. They stop school buses. It's so good. At first I was like, what is this country hillbilly nonsense? Now it's one of my favorite things about living here. How about stops traffic? Oh, good Lord. And there'll be like 20 of them with little baby goslings. And, yeah. Little baby goslings and a whole bit. 10 likes. 1,000 views. Yeah. Let's do this thing. It's so goofy. Oh, sorry. Who plays some Among Us? Yeah, they will take forever. Look at this one. It's so goofy. I've never seen anything like it. It's my one regular interaction with wildlife in my favorite thing, which is my car. I love driving. And then you're just sitting there, and I can take my camera out. I've got tons of footage of them just slowly walking with ducklings, and every now and then one stops in the middle while everybody walks past, and he's looking around like he's the crossing guard of the head, whatever. It's just, yeah, it's the best shit. Oh, another one. Yeah, they're like big flocks like this with little ducklings like that. And they ain't playing with you, man. They will pit bull you. They'll rip your leg right off. Yeah, look at this. There's a bunch of them. This thing is 1 minute and 40 seconds. Yeah, I've waited at the light. How long does the light last? Unless you run for 5 minutes, then it stops for, I want to say, unless you run for 3 minutes and then it stops for 3 minutes, unless you run for 3 minutes, right? It's something like that. Yeah. And here's the thing: you have to have a law against it because you know assholes would just plow through them. Was that a taxi or a police car? I'm looking at the hard tent and the dirtiness of it. Yeah, and then they do sometimes they do shit like this. These two are just chilling while everybody else is moving on. You're like, man, should I go between them or let it? And then when you do move, you have to move like at 3 miles an hour. It's really is. It's just the goofiest shit. No, it's a taxi. All right. How big that road is. So here's another one. Bear. Look at him. Low, slow AF. It's good shit. If you live in it. And I got to tell you, man, they're bigger than they look on TV, right? So, I mean, I've had to walk. Sometimes you can walk where you're going, and there'll be a bunch of them where it's a close reference. So if they're here in a cluster, I could be right here, like a good 10, 15 feet away from them. But they're fucking big. They're like this tall. And then they swept their arms out. Their arms are about as wide. It's amazing. Look at this one. Chewing something. There's a lot of them. A lot of them. Money is just sitting down. It's amazing, man. I think most people like this kind of shit, which lets me know that we're not fully and completely lost, right? We like nature and animals and hiking. Some like it more, but again, there's also goose shit every place. I guess they're a flock. What do you call a flock? Are all birds have flocks? Flocks of gooses, flocks of pigeons? All birds that do flock, some birds don't flock. We know this. Hawks are solitary. All like hunter birds, like the eagles, are solitary. Canadian geese. Okay, let's do this. How big is that Canadian geese? I'm just curious. How big is there an American geese? The Canadian goose. Yeah, 2.5 feet tall. To 3.5 feet tall. That's with my ruler. This table is about 3 feet tall. That's talking about 3.5 feet. That can't be right. Because that would be this big. See a goose this big, you should run for your life. They're about, I guess that's 2.5 feet to 3 feet. This is 3.5 feet. No, yeah, 2.5 feet to 3 feet. Where is that? I hope I didn't leave it in the rain. I think I put it over there because I didn't want it to warp. 12-inch ruler. So we're talking this is 2 feet. 2.5 feet would be this. 3 feet would be that. How big is, yeah, well, maybe those are the big ones. Are there American geese? What American geese look like? Oh, there are American geese. How big is an American goose? The American buff has brown eyes. The bred is the largest of the medium weight class of geese. 16 pounds. American, oh, they're called American buff geese. That works. That's typically American. Our geese are buff. Hey, how much you bench? On American geese. How big is a full-grown goose? Most adults between 5 and 14 pounds. So they most adults weigh between 5 and 14 pounds. I guess that's not too out of line. What people weigh between, how much does a small woman weigh? 100 pounds, right? To a guy. So you could have 100 pounds to 5. People don't generally walk around weighing 500 pounds, but there are people generally, I would say the top physical healthy weight, not being heavy, but just kind of being naturally big, would likely be 350, right? Up to 375. I mean, then you can put on more weight, and that weight could put weight on your frame. But I think how much is an average football player? Now I'm just curious about about human weight. Uh, Average weight of a human being. I don't even want to look at how I spelled that. Average rower of a rower. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get better at typing IGHT of a human being because for the last 30 years, me and my homie type back and forth, and I just mangled the keyboard. And we were talking about this: 136 pounds. The average body mass globally was 136 pounds, 92 kilograms. The average body mass was 100. How is that even possible? With the highest average body mass. Okay. Oh, globally. Here's your magic word. So once you add us Americans into, we're 50 pounds heavier than everybody else, which has the highest average body mass of a continent. The number is 178. So the average is 178. But mind you, I'm assuming that you live in the West, right? So in the West, well, one, we consume a lot of shit here, right? We have a higher income per capita. I think by 8 to 10 times, right? So medium income in Afghanistan might be $7,000 a year. Here, you can't live or a life without making at least 50. Britain is the same, Australia is the same, France and Germany is the same, Belgium. It's all the Western places. God only knows what the standard of living average yearly salary in Syria is at war. Afghanistan is a shit show. Who are our allies? Saudi Arabia. Well, they're oil rich. Saudi Arabia. Average salary in Saudi Arabia. 26 to 37 per hour. 20 to 2.5 to 50,000 a year. Salespeople. What's the annual income in Saudi Arabia? Average salary in Saudi Arabia is 260,562 SAR per year. The typical earning is 101 SAR, all data based on what the fuck is the SAR? Saudi Arabian, what, ruble, I guess? What's the base salary in Saudi Arabia? 300,000 Saudi reals. Do you want a conversion? Pay scale conversion. Come on, you don't have a conversion on this thing? Chesapeake, Virginia location, year to see, okay. All right. Average yearly income in America. 35? Really? It's lower than I thought. 35. How can you live off $35,000 a year? $34,248. American salary information. Is it only $35,000? How can you live off that? Everything is so fucking expensive. What's the average income American in 2021? Do you ever wonder how good your monthly or yearly income is? Knowing how much does the average American make, I just figured that out. Before digging into these, let's check the American income interest. The medium household income in the U.S. is in 2019 was 6. That's what I was thinking. The median income, the average, median means average, in 2019 was 68,000. Right? That's why I thought you couldn't make anything over $5,000. I mean, 30, 35, 50 grand. The average wage. Oh, the median income is everybody in your house, me, my wife, right? The average wage is 51. I'm still close, right? How can you live off less than 50? The top 1% earnings rate is 20% more than annual income. There are 34 million people below the poverty line. which sounds fucked up to say, but is good, right? You know why it's good? It's 10%, right, of your full population. We have 340 million people here. 34 million is exactly 10%. You want that lower, but that's if you had 100 friends, one of them was busted. That's not bad. You want to get him off the ground. We don't appear to want to get them off the ground. But other countries, they're 100 people. They'll have 40%. 40% of the people, 1 in 4, I'm not 1 in 4, are 4 in 10. You know what I mean? And that leads to civil unrest and all this other shit. I can't feed my family. I can't go to college. I can't travel out of here to find a life for myself. I am fucked here in, like we said, Syria, right? Afghanistan. How much do people in Afghanistan make yearly income? Don't get it wrong. Like all the ministers and preachers and rabbis, and imams, they're all flushed with cash. Yearly income in AFGANSTI, Afghanistan. All right, let's see if I spelled that right. Yeah, all right. Good job for you. What is it? Let's take this. Average yearly salary. What, can I find a converter per capita? Afghanistan, current US dollars, GDP. Oh, look, it was going up in 2012, and then there you go. Yeah, there you go. What do you got here? 500. 1960 to 2022. What is this? Oh. Angola, Bangladesh. Most recent value. They're talking about, you know, Afghanistan is under like a giant wad of like minerals and shit. But at this point, I don't know if we can just keep digging holes in everything. I mean, you can't dig holes, make all this plastic, and then dump the plastic in places, right? I mean, eventually you're gonna run out of places to put this shit. We just need a better system. I don't know what the system is, but the system we got, I think, is lucrative and bad for us. So it's going to take a lot to change it. What is lucrative and bad for us? Fried food, right? Oh man, excuse me, got the tummy hanging out. You like, let's say, I like French fries. But I love them baked in oil. So I know that's bad for me, right? I can't be messed with that all the time. Are you gonna ban it? No, I'm outright against you banning it. But I mean, it is what it is. If everyone have to agree to stop doing it and move on to something else. And trust me, no one wants to eat celery sticks. What's good selling in 2021? What's considered middle class? All right. Yeah, you know, there's something to be said for knowing what your neighbors do. So you can properly adjust. Medium household income in 2021. Nominal real estate, January. Look at this. Yeah. What is this? Oh, this is interesting. I don't know how we got on this. 25% of employees earn less than $52,600. That's 1 in 4. 50% of employees earn less than $92,800. You know, so this is 40 grand more than this. Okay. 75% of employees earn 253,000 USD or less. 100%, almost everyone earns 423,000 USD or less. Almost everyone earns 423,000 US dollars or less. 100%. Well, I've always said the government does not, the criminal law doesn't, unless it's tax stuff, does not fuck with you if you make like over 100 grand. The only people that the law concentrates on are people making about 60 grand and less, right? Yeah, it's look, everything leaves clues to what it is, right? Whether you're well, it's other than space aliens, I'm assuming. Domestic goose. Chinese goose derived from the swan goose. An Emden goose breed derived from, an Emden goose, a breed derived from the gray lag goose. Okay. It's a good looking goose. A pair of swan goose types. Really, swan goose. The goose of the capital. Geese in fiction and myth. When Aphrodite first came ashore, she was welcomed by Charity, Roman graces. Oh, so they're like muses. In Greek mythology, Charis, Charites. So this is Charites. Charis or Grace is one of three or more goddesses of charm, beauty, nature, human creativity, goodwill, fertility. Together known as the Charites are Chariots of Grace. Okay, we have to look these up because they sound like the muses, which we looked up a couple of weeks ago. Geese are violent little bastards. Look at him. He's about to set it off. Whose chariot was drawn by geese. There are mother goose tales such as farm wife. Farm wife? There was a farmer's wife. Might have to, such as a farm wife might have told. There is proverbial goose that laid the golden egg, warning about the perils of greed. Geese in the temple of Juno on the Capitoline Hill were said by Livy. Who's Livy? Titus Livius, known as Livy in English, was a Roman historian. He wrote monumental histories of Rome and the Roman people, titled Ab Ube Condita, from the founding of the city. Ab Ube Condita, from the founding of the city. Okay. Covering the period from the earliest legends of Rome before the traditional founding in 753 BC. Oh, we gotta look him up. This is why, I mean, I'm sure all of this shit is bullshit. It's 5,000 years old, but it's still like interesting to kind of like, and it's still kept around. Well, it's kept around in the West. I'm pretty sure like the Asian community does not give a fuck. They're still talking about everybody's got these people. The Asian and I mean proper Asian, the old Orient is still talking about Confucius and his teachings, whereas the Middle East proper, right, Iran, Syria, all that place is still talking about Rumi and his teachings, right? Here in the West, we talk about, you know, Roman and Greek people. The geese in the temple of Juno in the Capitoline Hill were said by Livy to have saved Rome from the Gauls around 390 BC when they were disturbed in a night attack. The story may be an attempt to explain the origin of the sacred flock of geese at Rome. The smoking of geese in a homemade smoker. All right, so you're telling me they would sneak it up on you and then, oh, come on, man. They would sneak it up on you in this story, right? And them sneaking up woke all these geese who started honking and blah, 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 which alerted the guard to fend off the attack. Domestic geese have been used for centuries as watch animals and guards and are among the most aggressive of all poultry. Yeah. I didn't know you could use them as guard. I guess they would make a sound. They would be no different than bells, cans and shit on a string that you trip. Honk, 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 honk. You're like, God damn it. And there's always a bunch of them. They're never alone. Angel wing, a disease common in geese. Domestic duck, list of goose breeds, roast goose. Remember, in the 1860s, eggs on display in the market. Really? Goose eggs? New season. Good Lord. Free range geese. $5, 5 pounds each. Look at how big it is versus the regular egg holes. Yeah. The charis. In Greek mythology, a charis Charis? You know what? I'm going to look this up. Pronunciation. How to say Charis is 45 seconds long. Charis rhyming with Harris. Charis. So it's Charis or the Charist. Okay. In Greek mythology, the Charis, or Grace, one of three or more goddesses of charm, beauty. Hold it. 3 or more goddesses of charm, beauty, nature, human creativity, goodwill, and fertility, together known as Charis. That's 5 things that the 3 of them. Do they all have those 5 things, or do of the 3 of them 2 have 2 and 1 have 1? Okay. We've been streaming for an hour. I said this was only going to go an hour. We're going to give it another 15 minutes, maybe. The Yuju Rasa, as given in Hesiod, is Aglaia or Aglaia, is the name of several figures in the Greek mythology, the best known of which are one of the 3 Carats or Gracies, graces. Shining, Eophrosin, okay. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Well, let's look it up. Oh, new tab. Thank you. No. That's not what we wanted. We wanted to look it up. There you go. Oh, good Lord. Just fucking tell me. I hate this. I don't want to be driven to your YouTube channel. Just fucking tell me the pronunciation. How to pronounce. All right, well. We'll get rid of you. Euphrosyne, joy, and Thalia, blooming. In the Greek mythology and religion, Thalia, or Thalia, was one of 3 Charites referred to as the Gratias when within ancient Rome. So shining, joy, and blooming. Hesiod states that the Alges is the youngest of this group and the wife of Hephaestus, Greek god of blacksmith, metalworking, carpentry, craftsmanship, artisan, sculptures, metallurgy, fire, volcanoes. Hephaestus' Roman counterpart is Vulcan. In Greek mythology, Hephaestus was either the son of Zeus and Hera, or he was the son of Medusa, I thought. Hold on. He was either the son of Zeus and Hera, or he was Hera's Parthenogeous child. In nature, a form of asexual reproduction in which growth and development of embryos occur without fertilization by sperm. All right. He was cast off Mount Olympus by his mother because of his deformity. Right. In another account, by Zeus for protecting Hera from his advances. Yeah, all right. We know a little bit about him. In Roman mythology, they are known as the Gratias. Some variant. All right, so what is the difference between them and the nymphs? Not the nymphs, the muses. In Roman mythology, they were known as the Gratias. The Graces, in some variant, Charis, with a K, was one of the Charites who was equated with Aglaia rather than the single form of the name, as she too referred to as wife of Hephaestus. All right. We're not going to spend too long. I love Greek mythology, but we're not going to spend too long with this. The name and number of the gods associated with the Charites vary, although they usually number 3. Alternatively to Aglaia, Euphrosyne, and Thalia, given in literature, included Damia, Mother Earth, Exhaustia, Sprint Growth, Cleta, Renown, Phania, Bright, Hegemon, Leader, and Piethio, Persuasion, Paragoras, Consolation, Pasithea, Pasithea, relaxation, Charis, grace, and Kale, beauty. Alternatively, in an ancient vase painting, attest to farm names as, oh, good Lord, more names. So you're telling, look, these sound like the Roman. This is a very cool picture. This is very cool. Whoever did this was a fucking genius. By James Prater, was a Genevan-born French sculptor best known for his work in the neoclassical style. Hold on. 1790 to 1852. So this is fairly recent. This is fucking beautiful. This is not from antiquity. All right. Here's another one. Seder, and did he do this one too? Look at his style. Wow. This is how you make art that lasts 1,000 years. All the writings and the paintings will go, but this, man, look at this thing. Curving angles on stone. I mean, I think people look at this and they just take it for granted. But once you look, the toilet of Atlanta, the toilet of Atlanta, the toilet of Atlanta. All right, let's go to the toilet of, no story about why he named it the toilet of Atlanta. A Victorian surrounding the Neapolitan tomb, Napoleon's tomb. Oh, he did Napoleon's metal sarcophagi. Memorial bust of Duke d'Orleans. Sappho at the column. Yeah, you click on it and it doesn't get bigger. Wow. Then have another sculptor sculpt your own bust for your tomb. Pretty good, dude. Livy. Are we gonna move on to Livy yet? No, we're gonna. The Graces in the 1st century fresco at Pompeii. All right, so I think the difference between muses and what would they call? Charites? Not Moses, muses. Muses, Greek muses. Nine muses are the origins of Greek idea of charity. Muses, Greek, the 3 graces. Graces, the 9 muses. So there are 9 muses and 3 graces. All right. And them say, well, they, I mean, I find that the Roman and the Greek, like, gods are all like the same. So I find it like if someone said, man, I'm going to start Christianity. Excuse me. I'm going to start Christianity, and I'm going to start it by a guy. His name is Jesus, and he's from Nazareth, and he's got disciples, and here we go, right? And someone else goes, ooh, I'm going to start a story not about the Christians and Jesus, but about the Mystians and like Rebus. And he, and it's so close, and you're sitting and looking at both of them like, man. And they're right across the ocean from each other. So it sounds like somebody got half the story and ran with it. The Roman Zeus is, who is Zeus in the Roman world, right? I forget. Hera has an equal. Poseidon is, I've forgotten them all. Poseidon is, all right, now we gotta look them up because I'm obviously loopy now. Greek, Roman god. Yeah, so Zeus was Jupiter, Hera was Juno, Poseidon was Neptune, Cronus was Saturn, Aphrodite was Venus, Hades was Pluto, Hephaestus was Vulcan, Demeter was Ceres, Apollo was Apollo, good job Apollo, Athena was Minerva, Artemis was Diana, I always love the name Artemis, Ares was Mars, Hermes was Mercury, Dionysus was Bacchus, Persephone was Prosperiphone, right? Eros was Cupid, Gaia was Terra, Hypnea was Somnus, god of sleep, Rhea was Ops, Rhea, mother of Zeus, wife of Cronus. Uranus was Uranus, good job, Uranus. Nike was Victoria, Eos was Aurora, Pan was Faunus, goddess shepherd, Selene, Luna, Helios, Sol, Heracles, Hercules, and Odysseus was Ulysses. Everybody thinks that Pan was the oldest god, right? Before there was anything else, there were shepherds and flocks. And a lot of people think that this whole thing grew out of Pan. Amazing. All right. Let's close this and look up Livy. Livy was a Roman historian. He wrote a monumental history of Rome and the Roman people titled Urba Condita, from the founding of the city. Covered the period from the earliest legend of Rome before the traditional founding in 753 BC. 753 BC. Yeah. Through the reign of Augustus in Livy's own lifetime. Okay. He was on familiar terms with a member of the Julian Claudians dynasty. Who were they? The Julian Claudian dynasty comprised the first 5 Roman emperors: Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. And even a stranger with Augustus, whose young grandnephew, the future Emperor Claudius, he extorted to taking up the writing of history. Livy's teenage years during the 40s BC were a period of numerous civil wars throughout the Roman world. All right, we're not even going to finish the rest of this. If you're important back then, you got a bust of you because there were no photographs. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so we're off our rib on Goose. See what Goose led us down a rabbit hole. Actually, it wasn't the Goose. It was this picture of this buffalo that led us down a rabbit hole to Gooses in the Road, and then the history of gooses, and then somehow on to ancient Roman literature, right? Not literature, Roman life, I guess. Who wrote what they believe, ancient Roman spirituality. So somehow we get back to spirituality. Come on, guys, seriously, don't kill all the buffaloes. Look at them. They can't. I mean, this is an old one. And I'm pretty sure that the concrete probably, he ain't feeling it. He is a massively good looking son of a bitch. Look at him. This license plate is either a New York plate, which is interesting, or a Colorado plate. All right. What else did we do here? So I guess that's it for this Sunday show, right? The first of a weird one. No guitar. I can play some if you want to. I'll be back later today. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope your Sunday's going well. Remember, if you spent more than 20 minutes with us, this counts as church. So I'll write a letter to your preacher, your rabbi, or your imam, and they all know me. It'll be good. I wish you well. Go have breakfast. Go have coffee. Go let the people that you share the domicile with, that you appreciate them. Some people will get all wigged out if you appreciate them publicly. They get all paranoid about it. But you should know those people. Let them know you appreciate them however way that they can take it. And it's not traumatizing to their whole system. I wish you well. I will see you on the next. Hopefully I'll see you here next Sunday on the next Sunday session, number 2. Or later today, doing whatever the heck we're going to be doing. We haven't named these new shows yet. I don't even know what I'm doing with it. But we'll be doing something with it. Let's cut this off. Have a good day. I will see you, hopefully, in all the upcoming ones. But if not, take care of yourself. All right, I'm out. It's Sunday. We call family to mess with them and make sure that they're all right. Because, Like I said, show love to people, make friends. Like I always say, you got to make allies. All this I'm a lone cowboy bullshit just gets you dead by a mob, right? If you had your own mob, you're less likely to be harassed by large groups of people. We're a social animal. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're a social animal. There's safety in numbers, people. All right. I got love for you. I will see you in the next one. Peace.